All right, hey guys, this is Johnny FD and welcome to module 10 of my free dropshipping course. Today's talk is all about traffic, how to actually get visitors to your website and how do you get sales from having visitors, all the questions. Where should you advertise? Google, Facebook, Instagram, should you do SEO? How do you get traffic? How much should you pay? What should you set your bids at? What's your budget? And all that good stuff. So let's dive straight in. If you haven't already signed up for the full course, it is completely free, just like these YouTube videos are, but you get drip fed them every day. You get an invite to the private Facebook group so you can communicate, get your answers, your questions answered, you can ask each other questions, and it's just fun, it's free. So go to dropshiplab.com, enter your email, and you can get enrolled in the free course. Make sure to subscribe here to the YouTube channel to get these videos as they are released here as well. But if you want them a little bit faster, go to dropshiplab.com. So let's jump straight into traffic. All right, so the first, most important part is when, the timing of it. I think too few people run traffic early enough. I think a lot of people are afraid of spending money or wasting money running traffic, so they just start tweaking their website, making it better and better, making it prettier and prettier. And then, months later, they'll call me and they'll say like, hey Johnny, like, am I ready to start sending traffic? And I'm like, yeah, you're probably ready months ago. And here's the thing is, yeah, you can take your time and make it perfect, but it's probably costing you time and money to have it up and not make, and not be making sales. And if you have suppliers on board and you don't make any sales for the first 2-3 months, they might end up dropping you because you're just, dead weight. They're wasting your time, especially if you're talking to them all the time, you're calling them all the time. If you're not making sales, you're not really a dealer for them yet. You're just a guy who got approved who, isn't making them any money. So when do you know just when you start driving traffic? For me, really it's as soon as you're approved to sell products. If you have even 20 live products on your site, maybe even 10, I would just start turning on the ads. And the reason for that is because it takes some time to get this stuff kickstarted. So let's say you want to run Google ads and it's your first time ever, you don't have an account yet, and Google doesn't know who you are. First off, it's going to take you time to go through the process of learning how to even set up the account, how to sync your Shopify product feed with the Google ad account. And it's going to take a few days for that. It's probably going to come back with some errors, which isn't a big deal, but it's going to take a few days to see the errors, and then it's going to take a few days for you to correct it. It might be something as simple as you didn't put in the correct pricing, or you didn't write the inventory, you didn't check the box. Maybe you forgot to put in a proper title or something. Maybe the title's too long. Whatever it is, it could be any of these things, but you won't know until you start running ads, or we start trying to run ads for you to even find out. So I would suggest straight away, as soon as you have 10 or 20 products live, start turning on the ads to go through that process. So as you're adding more products, you'll be able to just kind of quickly ramp those up. So the next question is, how much should you budget? And this is tricky because it's different for every single person's niche, how expensive your products are, but also how much money you have to even do these trial and errors. So in general, I would recommend you need at least 200 visitors to your product page or your website to even start getting any significant results. Before you even do that, just not waste money, buy one of your own products. I think a lot of people don't go through the proper testing phase. And if you're afraid to buy on your own website where the money goes back to you, or you get stuck somewhere, then you can't expect anyone else to buy from you either. So you really have to go through the process, buy one of your items, go through the entire checkout process as you were a customer, and you have two choices. You can either just cancel it and refund yourself, it's your money anyways, or you could just leave it there because it's your money anyways. So now that you've tested your site, you know it works, the payment processor works, start driving traffic. And the reason why you want 200 visitors, and when I say 200 visitors, I mean 200 unique visitors to your site. Imagine you have a restaurant, like a cafe, you want 200 people walking through here visiting, whether they buy something or not. You don't want 200 impressions. That just means 200 people may have walked by the front of your building, saw the ad, but didn't even read it, or didn't even click it, didn't take any action, that doesn't mean anything. So ignore impression count and ignore displays. Just look at your unique visitor click-throughs. People who have come into your actual cafe or your web shop or your website. And all the platforms that we advertise on, whether it's Google or Facebook, they'll define all the different categories. Obviously, there's a lot more to it, so I do encourage you to take a tutorial on whatever advertising platform that you decide to go with. But I'm going to give you an overview of which ones are best for who. And the reason why the 200 visitors is so important is because it's something called conversion rates. So a cafe is a bit different. People don't really walk in to, unless they're gonna order something. But a website, think about your own situation. How many times when you're shopping for something, how often are you browsing a website and you open like 10 tabs? Are you buying something from every single tab? No way. Sometimes you're doing research, you're looking at prices, you're looking at reviews, you're looking at dimensions. So in general, for e-commerce and people buying something online, a 1% conversion rate is kind of like a fair conversion rate. 1% would be considered extremely low for a very dedicated site like Amazon, where people only go there to buy, and they have their loyal customer base ready. People are spending $50 a year on Amazon Prime just so they can buy more stuff, and they have one-click buy. It's very, very easy to buy stuff on Amazon. So their conversion rate might be as high as 30%. But let's say you're some no-name site selling a really expensive product, your conversion rate might be even lower than 1%. But 1% on average is pretty general. I've seen this across the industry. If you can't get 1%, you're doing something wrong. A good conversion rate for something like a Shopify dropshipping store is 2% or higher. And I know it doesn't sound like that big of a deal, 1% to 2%, or even that sounds really low. But the thing is, it's really hard to get 200 people to physically come to your cafe. There's only so many people that live in this town. They have to physically drive or walk here. It's a lot of effort. Online, you literally have millions of people that you can reach. It just takes them one click. It doesn't cost them anything. So that's why a website might have a million visits a month, while a cafe might literally only have a few hundred or maybe 1,000. So that's why it's hard to open, a physical location. I mean, this is a nice cafe. They have, a shop here that sells clothing. I hardly ever see anyone walk in the clothing shop. So these are the trade-offs with online business versus offline business. So with our online businesses, we want to try to get at least 200 people into our shop. So with a 1% standard conversion rate, that means we should at least get 1 or 2 sales. We should get 2 sales if we have a 1% conversion rate. The reason why I say 200 is in the beginning, your conversion rate might really suck because your site might not be optimized. You might be using stock photos. You might not have any reviews yet. You might have a crappy About Us page or Contact Us page, whatever it is, because you're a new store. So that's why I said, let's bump it up to 200. If after 200 unique visitors, you haven't gotten a single sale, that's when you want to go in, check your abandoned carts, try to figure out why people are not buying. But I'll save that for another video. Today's video is really about how to get those 200 visitors in the first place. What platform should you use? Should you advertise on Facebook, on Google? Should you retarget Instagram ads, YouTube ads, Instagram influencers, or should you go a free route like SEO? Let's talk about all those right now. All right, so first off, you have the free route. You might think this is the best route to go because you might be on a budget, you might be just starting out, but here's the thing, free is not free. Free costs you time, and free ultimately ends up costing you money. And it might cost you your supplier relationship, it might cost you your sanity. So what are some free methods? One can be SEO, search engine optimization. You spend a lot of time trying to find links to your, to direct to your back to your store. You write blog posts with content. Maybe you might create some YouTube videos for it. These are all kind of free ways to get traffic. Hopefully Google will index you and be like, okay, if you want to buy XYZ product, if you want to buy, Sri Lankan bamboo furniture, you'll go to Johnny's Sri Lankan, bamboo furniture shop. Whatever domain we ended up finding it from it, like yardelite.com or whatever it was. So that is a strategy. However, the problem with that is it takes a long time to start getting traffic from SEO. It probably will take you 6 months, to be fair. I mean, you might get it a little bit faster. There's ways where you can try to get it faster. You might buy an existing site. You might try to repurpose something. You might, have your private blog network up already, whatever it is. There are ways to do it. However, the problem with this is first, it takes a lot of time. And second, what if you do all this effort, you start getting 100 visitors a day, but nobody buys anything, and you realize your niche sucks? You just wasted all this time and money. And it is money, all right? Because this time is money. So yeah, even though it didn't physically cost you anything, you ended up wasting so much time. SEO and these free methods, I encourage you to do after you start making sales. Start slowly working on it. That way you have another stream of traffic, but definitely 100% do not start with SEO. Other free types of ways to get traffic for free, and I've experimented with all of this stuff, so I'm really trying to save you some time because I've tried everything. One was posting on free classifieds like Craigslist, and I would go in the section like buy, trade, sell section, and I would post my items there and say, if anyone wants to buy it, you can email me. And I tried, using it as just a source of traffic to get them back to my site. I tried to actually sell through there, and I made a sale or two, I think. But it took so long, it took so much effort, so much time. It was not worth it, and it didn't come in right away. It's like, if it had come, that week after me posting on Craigslist, it probably would have been bad because I probably would have spent way too much time posting in other cities on Craigslist or finding ways to do it. Luckily, it didn't come until like months or years later, so by then I knew it was not worth my time. I tried the same with eBay. So eBay lets you list the products basically for free, and then they have you take a commission after you sell. So it kind of is like a free method. So I figured they would either buy it from eBay, and I would just fulfill it normally and sell it, or they would click one of the links in my eBay description, or on the photos, I very cleverly put my URL in there, and hopefully they would just go straight to my store to buy instead of first going through eBay. I had all these great ideas, and yeah, I made a few sales eventually as well, months down the line, but it was not a good method. It just took a lot of time and effort, and it was such a small sliver. I mean, literally I probably made, maybe 4 sales through eBay, but I made 400 through Google, for example, through Google paid ads. So that is why, if you take a course like Anton's, he'll say like, guys, just go this route. Just go, not even Google ads. He'll tell you you're only doing Google product listing ads in these categories for this price point for this. Like, he's very, very, very specific in his kind of game plan, his master plan. However, with my course, I'm really trying to give you guys an overview. I'm really trying to give you guys all the options because you guys are all in different niches. And that is going to be a big problem with it, is there's pros and cons. Some of you might be in the CBD niche. You might be selling, edibles online, right? You might be selling like, vape gear, whatever it is. And the thing is, Google is not going to let you advertise through their platforms for that. So you're gonna have to use a different way of getting traffic. It doesn't mean CBD is a bad niche. Some of you are gonna end up making a lot of money, maybe way more than us, if you can break through and figure out a way to get traffic to your CBD store or your marijuana store. However, that's not the way that, like, if you take a very specific course like Anton's as an example, he's teaching you his recipe that he's done, he's replicated, and it has worked. So if this was a baking class and not a dropshipping course, I would be teaching you how to bake, and I'm teaching you kind of the overview of how to go through the whole process, whether you want to make a croissant or a pizza, brown bread, rye bread, or whatever it is, right? A souffle or something. Anton is saying, I just want to make sourdough. I've tried them all. I've tried all the breads. Sourdough is the best. That's what I'm teaching, and not even just sourdough, but like a very specific sourdoughs, like Anton's, high-end, expensive sourdough bread. And for him, it works, and for his students, it works, and that's why I always push people. It's good to learn kind of an overall skill, but sometimes it's good just to follow one person and say, like, I'm just going to follow exactly his recipe and his steps, because first off, sometimes it's a little bit easier to, than trying to grab all these skills from here and there and learn all these things. But second, even though at the end of the day, you're only going to be making one type of bread, you're going to be making it really, really well. So if you want to sell high ticket, expensive items, $1,000 furniture, for example, from the US to the US, or from Australia to Australia, in the domestic market of where you are, I would highly recommend you take his course. You can check it out. He's a free webinar. You can just watch it and get an overview of what his recipe and his method is. You can use my link. It's antonmethod.com. I'll have it in the show notes as well. However, in my course, I really want to give you guys a broad idea of what to do, because some of you are not going to want to follow his course for whatever reason. You're going to say, Johnny, I don't want to deal with these snooty customers that spend $1,000 on furniture, or in my market, that's not possible. People don't have credit cards with $1,000 budgets, or whatever it is, right? You might be from a country that doesn't accept credit cards, and you're like, Johnny, I can't, like, nobody's going to buy a $1,000 product in my country. I need to sell cheaper things from another source or XYZ. And some of you, even though I don't like selling from AliExpress or from China, it works for a lot of people. I know a lot of people who have made a lot of money from it, and things are always changing, but it'll probably continue to work. So if you're going that route, then Anton's sourdough recipe is not going to work for your croissants. So that is why I'm trying to give you a very broad overview of what traffic it is, instead of saying spend $30 a click, $500 a month on this ad or something like that, which honestly would be easier because I can make this video shorter, but I'm really trying to teach you how to bake and how to get traffic to your website. All right, so that being said, let's cut the info. I really want you guys just to have a clear picture of what to do. So this is exactly what you need to do in your niche for your products. Number one, you need traffic. If you don't have 100 visitors to your store, you're probably not going to make a sale. All right. Second, you need a positive ROI, because let's say you spent $1,000 to get those customers, but your profit margin for that product was only $30. You just lost money. You can't replicate that again. So second is, whatever traffic source you choose, it needs to have a positive ROI. Third is, once you make that sale, as long as it's profitable, you want to put that money back in and basically increase your budget. When people ask me, how much money should you spend in for ads? What is your monthly ad budget? I look at them, I'm like, what are you talking about? It's unlimited. And people are like, what? Like, yeah. If I'm giving you money and you're giving me back more money that same month, take it all. Raise my budget to $30,000 a month. I don't care. Like, if you can figure out a way where you can take my account, my store, and spend $1 million a month on ads and bring me back $1.3 million in revenue or in profit, as long as it's profitable, if I'm making 30% or 40% on that $1 million, and at the end of the month I have my $1 million back and another $40,000 or $400,000, do as much as you want. Raise my budget as much as you possibly can. The reason why that doesn't work is every store, every niche has its limitations. There's only so many customers searching for a product. And at a certain point, if you raise your budget too high, or your bids are too high, then it just ends up costing you more money for the same amount of traffic that you could have got for cheaper. It's like, if you're bidding, if you're bidding for something and you could have bought it for $1,000, And for no reason, they're like, no, I'm gonna give you 2,000. And they're like, yeah, I was gonna sell to you for 1,000. Like, no, I just want to pay more. Like, it doesn't. You don't get more products, if that makes sense. So those are kind of the three big principles. You need to find a traffic source where your customers that want to buy your niche are going to be hanging out at. If it's low cost items that sell well to people on Instagram, yeah, maybe you want to run Instagram ads, or you even pay an Instagram influencer to sell your eco-friendly bamboo Sri Lankan, dresses or shirts. If you're selling expensive furniture, only to like a very specific niche in the US, and you can only ship to those states, you want to target your Google ads exactly to that, so it's not showing to anyone else. If you're selling CBD or marijuana and Google won't let you advertise there, you have to find a place that will let you advertise it. So that is key number one, is find out where your customers hang out and who's going to let you actually advertise on their platform for your product. Second, you need to have it be a positive ROI. So if I am selling, $1,000, bamboo Sri Lankan dinette set or something, and my profit margin on that is, $350 or $400, which is pretty normal. I can afford literally to pay up to $350 for ads, because I get a customer, and so if I sell one of those products, I basically break even. If I sell two, I double my money. That is why I really like Anton's recipe and method, is because he really deals in very expensive products. However, there is also a lot of ways to make money selling a lot of cheaper products. So instead of selling one $1,000 item, why not sell 1,000 $30 items? And even though your profit per item is going to be lower, your ads are going to be much cheaper. And here's the thing, is that the metric that you really want to focus on, whether you're in the dashboard of Facebook ads, Google ads, Instagram ads, wherever it is cost per conversion. That is the one that you want to highlight, that you want to look at every day. The other things don't matter that much. Those are to tweak. As long as you have enough visitors to your store, ideally 100 visitors a day, but at least, let's say if you have 50 visitors a day, you should get a sale every other day. If you have less than that, you don't have enough data to even know. So you need to be able to have 100 visitors to your store at least every 2, maybe 3 days. Ideally, every day or more. And that way you can wake up to a sale a day, pretty much guaranteed. And that's what I've been doing. And it's nice. Every morning when I wake up, because the time zone's different, I wake up and there's a new sale. Sometimes there's 2 sales, sometimes there's 3 sales. But I'm selling expensive items. If I was selling cheaper items, I would expect 10, 20, 30 sales a day. So this is where you want to figure out your budget. How much does it cost you to get one conversion, as in one paying customer? And then you want to take that amount and basically say, if it cost me $20 to get a customer, or let's say my profit margin is $20 because I'm selling a cheaper item, it's $20. That means I can afford to pay up to $20 to acquire that customer. So whatever my cost per click bid is, my daily budget is, as long as I can kind of balance that, so I'm not paying more than $20 per customer, that is where you want to start at. The reason why I aim in the beginning just to break even is because once you start getting customers, you start going through the process. First, you make your supplier happy because they're like, oh, this guy's actually selling products. But then second, then it's very easy for you to go in and be like, okay, let me get some reviews. Let me kind of spruce up this product page now that I know people are actually buying it. Let me spend some time to increase the conversion rate from 1% to 2%. Because now, not only are you making double the money, you're actually making 3x the money, $300 percent. And the reason for that is because you're still spending the same amount of money on the ad, you're still spending the same amount of money on the product, on shipping, but now you've sold twice as many items. So the ad spend to acquire the 2 customers was the same as 1. You ended up making 3 times the profit. And that is a big kind of trick and secret that I've done in the beginning. If every new store that I start is I don't focus on maximum profit first. I focus on maximum amount of customers and traffic, and without losing money. Never lose money, guys. But and unfortunately, to test in the beginning, it might end up costing you a few $100, or maybe even a few $1,000 if you have a very expensive product to even get those first 100 customers. But I guarantee that if your store works, people can check out, and there's nothing really wrong with it, with 200 visitors to your store, there's no reason why you shouldn't sell at least 1, maybe 2 products. And hopefully you'll get that money back, and then you can reinvest that and say, okay, that worked. My cost per conversion is $40 to get a customer, but my average profit for that product was $70. I just cleared $30. I'm gonna reinvest all that, scale up, turn up my budget, turn up my my daily budget, my monthly budget, as well as maybe even my cost per click budget, to a point where I can kind of keep that balanced. So that is traffic and advertising in a nutshell. You need the visitors, you need a place to let you advertise, and you want to make sure it's aligned with where your customers hang out. There's, a YouTube video ad is going to work really, really well for selling certain products and really terribly for others. A Google Shopping ad, or a text ad is going to work extremely well for people searching something very specific, but really it's going to be hard to sell, something that, let's say, no one's ever heard of because they can't search for it. I hope this helped. I know it's confusing. This is why a normal traffic and ads course is 4 hours on its own. Luckily, once you figure this stuff out, you can outsource some of it. You can even hire a company to manage and run your ads for you. But I do highly encourage you in the beginning to just do it yourself so you understand it. You can keep your budgets under control. You can test, and there is enough information out there. So decide what traffic source you want to do, and research that. There's lots of information. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to help each one of you guys. I can't hold your hands through your ads back end. But I will say that for most e-commerce stores, if you're selling expensive products over $200-300, start with Google Shopping. That's going to be kind of the bread and butter in the beginning. Once you start getting some sales from that, you can look into retargeting ads, you can look into Facebook ads, you look into other things, but just start with one that converts. And Google Shopping converts because there's no other reason for people to click that ad. It has the photo, has the price, so people know that's an ad to buy that product. It's very clear. So that's what I'll start with. As always, join our private Facebook group. Go to dropshiplab.com, enter your email address to get access to this group, as well as all the other videos. In the group, you can ask specific questions for your price point, your niche, your traffic source, and you guys can share with each other either the tools you found, or the courses you found, or the videos you found, the tutorials you found on how to set those up. Because a lot of questions you're gonna have, you're gonna get stuck somewhere. This is the overview. If you wanna follow one recipe, again, I do recommend Anton's course. Go to antonmethod.com. He teaches his basically e-commerce sourdough bread recipe, where he says, if you wanna sell expensive e-commerce products domestically from your country to your country, US to US, Australia to Australia, Sweden to Sweden, and you want to sell only expensive products, and that's the one method he teaches you. And even in his course, the ads course, I think it's like 3 hours long or something now. So it's a lot of information. But the nice thing about it is it's all screen share overview. So he logs into the dashboard, he shows you how to do it. There's examples of it. and he has like a quick start and says like, okay, day one you want to do this, and then the more advanced stuff you want to do this. Ads and traffic is expensive. That's why people get paid a lot of money to run ads for each other. But I promise you, you'll figure it out if you put in the time, you put in the effort. The information is out there. All you need, 100 visitors to your site, and you should make a sale. So that is kind of the thing you want to keep in the back of your mind when you're thinking about how to run ads, where to run ads, how much money to spend. You want 100 visitors, and you want to make sure that your cost per conversion is less than you're spending in ads. So you have a positive ROI, you're not losing money. That is the formula, guys. See you guys in the next video. Make sure to subscribe and take care. By the way, my sales on my stores have been crushing it. Here's the latest update. This is all built on Anton's method. I follow his sourdough recipe basically to create stores, and that's why all my sales, if you look at the average purchase price, they're all $1,000 or more, and that's what I learned from. So I do respect and love his strategy, but at the same time, I want to share this info with all of you. So even if you're selling cheaper products, you're selling different products, that you have the knowledge to start as well.